I am recording. Oh, goody. Okay, so I've been working on a switch. Actually, a fan sent me for the lathe, which is this thing here. Just still putting it together. It's a fan out there recognizes this red button. Where are we here? Okay. We do trading for metal samples for cool things. So this is I think it's a 600 amp switch. It's the only one I had around to work with for the lathe I'm building or built. I'm gonna try it out tomorrow and see what I can cut with it. I should be able to work fine with it. It's pretty tight. So anyway, for Charles Crawford III, I know that a lot of you folks starting out in this energy stuff and anti-gravity and alternative energy and other strange and wonderful things might get caught up with fake people. John Searle definitely is a fake, okay? Plus, probably most of them are that have the wild claims of free energy. There's no such thing as free energy right now. There is, it costs to make something, it costs to build it, it costs money to produce it. And we all know that the free and most simplest free energy is solar cells, if you want to call it free energy, but somebody had to make all the solar cells. Dr. Franklin E. Mead made a collector device to pick up the incidental Casimir effect radiation. That's a patent of 1996, December 31. Franklin E. Mead. Also, I've seen other scientists collect energy from the vacuum, so to speak. Dr. Peter Kokoshnik, Ken Shoulders, and others. But recommending for you to study and look out for any wild claims, any dramatic advertising that usually is accompanied by fake stuff. What you need to do is study the old timers. That if you look into your electrical books, you'll see Oersted and Henry and Voltaire and Ampere and on and on. If you study these old timers, you'll get a good grip on a lot of what you think you're doing or are doing, as well as old books such as the Amateur Radio Relay League. Old books you want. Study all the kinks and tricks they used to do. Popular science, popular mechanics, old preferably. Although you may be into computer tech, I don't know. All you hobbits out there. And scientists to look towards is George G. Hathaway, Bob Greener, Inventor 3, that's the name of the YouTube channel. That's Paul Mueller. He's doing excellent things for a number of years. You should look up him on YouTube. Bob Greener is a Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. You may want to look up the works of William Tiller, Tiller, Dr. Elizabeth Ann Rauscher. Eric Dollard's pretty cool. He's I don't know him, but I hear good things about him, so I think he's onto something. That's Eric Dollard. Also, yeah, I'm smoking in this area now for some reason. Eric Dollard, okay. I'm not. You could look up on Tesla Tech and see what they're presenting. Okay, I know you're building something with a bunch of you are. There's a paperclip experiment as well as a whatever that thing is that I can't pronounce the guy's name that you're working on, Charles. I don't know anything about it. It looks like what I saw in the video. It looks like a drone of some kind. Because something's spinning around. Well, maybe just a drone. I don't know. But somebody who has seen it in real life, that's you should try and find whoever that is. Huh. If anybody's ever seen it in real life. As we know with John Searle, we find out later on that all this stuff was faked. Hold up these saucer things and other crazy things and film it with strings and wires or whatever it is. But getting back into studying things, you want to look up Robert Gulka. He's a good guy. He's done a lot of interesting stuff. I know a lot of people make claims, and unfortunately, that's all it is, or a theory, and that's all it is. But you want to focus on real working devices. Timmy Ventura, American Anti-Gravity, actually made some levitators, ion drive things that lifted up for Discovery Channel, Beyond Invention. Other people, you may want to study Colonel John Alexander's work. He's published a number of books, a good friend for a long time. George Jack Houck, former McDonnell Douglas Aerospace. Other keywords to look up: field stress detector. Developed by Alexis Pizarro and then taken over by George Listacase, but it's worthy of looking into. Dr. Robert Forward and his works. Andrea Puharich. I don't know if any of the stuff is published. You may want to look on, get some helpful hints about Thomas E. Bearden. Look up Dr. Andrew McCroskey of PaceNet in Canada. He publishes a lot of good stuff. There's a bunch of others too. René Louis Vallée of France. Andrei Sakharov of Russia, although his more of conventional stuff. If you're getting atomics. Dr. Rudy Buser. Dr. Yeo at Berkeley. Ken Shoulders. Did I mention Ken already? I mean, a lot of these folks I have personally known and worked with. Definitely you want to check out Martin Fleischmann Memorial Projects, because Bob Greener interviews and presents a lot of different scientists there. I would accompany George Hathaway on many of these so-called free energy claim things. The Alexander motor turned out to be no good. The Hans Kohler device, well, who knows? Wilbert Smith, the Smith coil is still debatable. It's of interest. A Canadian developed something unusual. So these things I made myself. T. Henry Morey's device, radiant energy, I made a small unit that worked pretty good. Actually, it's a pretty big unit. I got a little bit of energy, but not what he had. You don't want to look up or be bothered with such things as Coral Castle. That's another Searle adventure thing. You might want to look up who I know personally, William Alec. He's pretty good. He does a lot of good stuff. Boyd Bushman of Lockheed Martin, who had passed away, of course, had done a lot of interesting stuff. You may want to try and repeat some of his experiments, like two opposing magnets and drop it from a high area. I think William Alec did that a while ago. But if you look up these names, there may be publications. I know that Google is slowly seems to getting rid of real good stuff. But you may want to go to antique forums, antique radio forums, vintage machinery, vintage electrical machinery. You may want to check out Jerry Proc, P-R-O-C, of HMC as Haida and his electronic explorations. Depending on what you're doing, I mean, good grief. There was a very dynamic levitator that used high voltage, of course. It was developed by a French person. I can't remember his name, for Pete's sake, but he has some videos. And if you search through YouTube, you'll find a lot of stuff there on some of these scientists. Maybe not, but to keep searching, you gotta search. Since everything is internet these days, you want to study all the Tesla stuff, what he's done, not what somebody else says, because they add stuff to it which is not true. So you want to Colorado Spring Notes, get a copy of that. Tesla's autobiography, get a copy of that. And I think it's a book called Tesla Man Out of Time, but I wouldn't bother with that. It's not really just, and because people write books and they make their own things up sometimes. It's not factual. When dealing with this kind of weird stuff, it's got to be factual. Vintage radio, vintage electrical machinery. There's all kinds of unique groups like that. I want to look up D. Scott Rogo, Dr. Robert Jan, Jahn. They're pretty good folks. They've done some interesting things. Look through morphic resonance with Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, who is in one of my Ian's films, actually, on morphic resonance. There's a lot of good stuff out there and in past history. But you know, somehow some of these people make free energy machines. They got a diathermy machine under the table. Anything will light up or run with a diathermy turned on full bore. That's some of their weird tricks they use. No. Who to watch out for? Well, somebody that, again, I mentioned, somebody with wild claims. And definitely somebody, be aware of beware of this one. When they come to the test period or present it, oh, the men in black or the government came in and messed everything up. That's one of their excuses for not showing you what they claim. Oh, it's top secret or some weird crap like that. Now you're showing me some kind of levitating thing with a fan running around in it. Has anybody actually seen it? Or is this somebody that claims a big story and doesn't show anybody it? Okay, personally, I showed everybody what I did. I could care less. I'm not interested in harboring any kind of secret patents and junk like that, or the big secret. I was very open with everything I did, so 6 o'clock news and let the scientists figure it out themselves. But I don't know if this is helpful for you, Charles Crawford. I hope it is. And that your expertise, I'm sure, is great, and you want to develop something unique and try it out. uh, the world's expert in any kind of energy device is George Hathaway, by the way, as well as Bob Greener and Colonel John Alexander. So they're very busy people, by the way, and they really don't have time to answer a lot of emails, as Bob is always presenting something new in energy and plasma and unique stuff. You might want to look up, also important, is Dr. Marcus Reed in Munich, Germany, on zero point energy. He's quite a pioneer. An area to explore through, but be careful, is Rex Research on the internet. Rex Research. And another one is PPSI Applications. I haven't been on that website for a while, so I don't know if it's still around. A lot of noise out there. Cars. I would suggest studying also Benjamin Franklin's work, which was presented by National Geographic years ago. God, I guess in the 70s, or I think it was in the 70s. Thomas Alvin Edison, and check out his stuff. This is what I did. I checked out so many things and met so many people too. In Canada, United States, Germany, Austria, Japan, Switzerland, plus contractors for the U.S. military who visit Canada and drop by my place and show me their stuff sometimes. I don't know if I mentioned about the battery replacer unit. That was something that was government. It was drawn out to me for me. That's something to look into. I did a video on it some months ago. U.S. military battery replacer, and that's, how old is that, in the 90s maybe? Oh, so mentioning names, and hopefully you can look into that. Get ideas and information. Definitely check out another friend of mine, is Dr. Hal Putoff. Check out all his work. It's a lot of publications. Dr. Hal Putoff. Puthof, I believe. I met him years ago. Just letting this sort of write these names down and check them out. They do publications. There is a lost scientist, Dr. Peter Kokoschnik's publications. Nobody knows about them. They're in Austria, and he did publish a lot of stuff. And I was there when he was collecting what he referred to as ether oscillations. That was 22 Jager, Bauer, Weg, Hendorf, and Wallersee. a big house lab inside the house. Dr. Margarita Kokoshnik was my doctor at the time. I was there on and off for about 2 years, over 2 years. And I do have that Geiger counter that Peter gave me before I left for Canada. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is a unique, awesome piece of gear. I think the batteries are dying on it. Well, why don't I just go get it? Hang on a moment. I used it for many applications. I'll go get it. Hang in there. Be right back. Hello, I'm back. Drippity doodah. So this is Peter's. I got two of these. One's doesn't hardly pick up anything, but specially made to pick things up. This one's, I believe, is for all kinds of stuff. Definitely cosmic rays and background. It'll pick up radium chloride knobs and that kind of thing as well. It's very long. I'll get the other one as well. This I made myself. It's all batteries and an amplifier and a meter, because it takes 18 volts direct current, and also a small audio amp I got from Radio Shack a long time ago. I'll go get the other tube. Oh, I'm back. This is the other tube. It's in a protective carrying thing here. It's only PCB pipe, or polyvinyl chloride pipe. Kind of stuck in there, so I'm gonna have to wedge it out. This one kind of picks up. Shouldn't do this, but once in a while it'll pick something up if I leave it on. Let's get this bad boy out of here, huh? Hello. It's very thin metal. This is what it looks like. And I put this on here to protect it. It's almost like very fine tin. You can almost, I can press on it and it goes in a little bit. So, connector. I wonder if there's anything in, so maybe somebody else knows what this is for. Maybe you do. Now, Peter told me these are very special tubes. So this one is very silent, but we'll pick something up once in a while. So that's an indicator that's pick up something unique. What? I don't know. So that's this tube. And this one here, we'll see if it's the batteries in my unit still work. What we do is turn the amp on, turn on the DC, and nothing happens, I guess it's probably the batteries are dead. Been a while. You don't hear anything because it's probably the batteries are below the threshold. I have to change that someday. New batteries. So sorry about that. And oh, wait a minute, hold on, what's this for? Maybe I wait a minute, maybe I'm so stupid I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Oh, I am stupid. Forgot about that. There you go. Batteries are okay, I just forgot. This plug fits. Hold on here. We'll just turn this off for a minute. Ooh, cosmic rays coming in, huh? Now you hook this up to a computer or a chart recorder, you could see the patterns over the day. Okay, why are you so active? It also picks up certain radio waves. When I was in the Gulf of Mexico, I had this. I could pick them up from the trees. Radio waves. Oh. What kind of plug is this? I don't think it'll fit the other one. Disconnecting it. No, it's a special plug. And it's got, oh, it's worn off. I got one for that somewhere too. Always hook it back up. So, this one's very sensitive to anything, and this is not sensitive, but it will pick up something once in a while. So maybe somebody out there knows exactly what that is. I don't know. We'll put them back in the safety thing here. Like so. And we'll turn this off to save power. And turn the amp off. I made this shortly after I arrived from Germany. Up in the attic where Yin was staying in the apartment, so I didn't really have access to a lot of workspace until she left. Then the apartment filled up with 18 tons of gear. Okay, so then was I working on the when she went back, I went to work for the Artificial Reef Society of British Columbia on the 4 destroyers. HMCS Mackenzie, HMCS Columbia, HMCS Saskatchewan, HMCS Yukon. That's where I learned a lot of things. Countermeasure stuff, electronic stuff. Degaussing coils, coil room, artillery. How they work, how they function. God, we even found a live shell for a 3-inch 50. Could have fired it off on the cannon, but oh, we decided to turn it in. So I learned a lot from that, and the mechanisms and the gyro compass systems for the keeping the mortars, cannons in synchronization with the rock and roll of the ship. They would move and stay steady. That was all done by gyro compasses and gyro repeaters and servo motors and all that cool stuff. So I learned a lot about servo motors, analog computer systems, gearing, synchro motors, DC amplifiers, as well as mechanical phase shifting, sonar systems. Very interesting stuff, sonar is. Amount of engineering goes into that. Incredible. So, how long have I been talking for? I gotta watch my time limit here. Because I gotta get, I guess 30 minutes. I gotta shave and clean up. 30 minutes. I think I'm okay. So that's something you may be wanting to look into is vintage. That's what Jerry Proc is good at. Of HMCS Haida. About vintage naval engineering. All that is information which will help you develop whatever you're trying to develop, folks. This is for all hobbits, by the way. Charles Crawford III. There's other hobbits out there too that are doing interesting things. So, if I remember, I don't know. Let me think. I kind of forget all the deadbeat so-called scientists. They're just fake artists. There's Dennis Lee, who's a total fake. A lot of these characters wind up in jail for defrauding people of their money. John Searle did. I'm just amazed at how people will follow other people. Like certain politicians, like they love Donald Trump. But Donald Trump, unfortunately, is a crook. A weasel. I don't know. There's something called the Keshi Foundation, which is another weird, flaky outfit. Keshi. All talk and no smoke. All talk and no smoke. International BS Operators Society. They'll be wary. They'll take your money and run. So you got to be very careful with a lot of different things going on out there. I know you invested in that or bought a drone. I didn't really was interested in it that much. I know you're trying to get it to work. I think it's some kind of high voltage thing. I don't know. It's really the special wing aircraft actually have high voltage on them to expand the wing a little bit more. I don't know if that B-50. What is it? The Triangle craft developed by Lockheed Martin and others does use high voltage on the wings. But there's other things besides high voltage. That's experimenting in the advanced labs like Los Alamos, and that's ceramic material and antimatter. Yeah, I know you can't produce it at home. Not yet. But antimatter, yeah. You'd like to look into that. Dr. Robert Forward on propulsion. If you want to go to a website, go to Defense Technical Information Center on Google. They got a lot of good publications that go back in time. Now, if you're into biology, you might want to study www.lef.org, Life Extension Foundation. There's other science to the Missouri, can't even pronounce it, foundation as well. There's the Rothschilds Foundation, but since Rothschilds have a people make up conspiracies about them all the time as well. So they have grants for people, as well as the U.S. government folks have grants for people for development of certain things. I submitted mine. However, it didn't meet their standards because paperwork was all haywire. Of course, that's me and paperwork. It was all mixed up. Dr. Bud Durand returned it, though, suggesting I redo it. I still got those letters. I got lots of letters. Thousands of letters is better. And anyway, there is worthy of possible study is Rife, Dr. Royal Rife's work at the World. You want to check into the World Research Foundation. Stephen Ross runs it. They have a chapter in Austria and Germany. I think Stephen Ross and Adele Ross are located in Los Angeles. So all these names I mentioned have good benefits if you want to look into it. Things that run on hydrogen. Well, Ballard Fuel Cells in Canada already developed something, a fuel cell that produces hydrogen that runs. There's Brown's gas, worthy of looking into. I've seen a demonstration of it years ago. And it's basically a generator that takes common materials and converts them into hydrogen. Another area you would like to look into is U.S. Navy's ELF transmissions push cosmic rays away from the Earth. You may want to look into the mechanics of that. It's kind of intriguing. ELF, extremely low frequency stuff. I'm sure there's a publication on it. There's a publication I missed, actually, on the sun and all the benefits of the different rays and radio waves from the sun onto your body. So that's worthy of trying to find it. It was a Russian report, and I lost it on Google. Still trying to find it. Anyway, if you're into life extension or health, again, lef.org or Dr. Berg is a good presenter of good stuff. On YouTube, Juron Corporation, TA65 and telomeres and astragaloside 4. And you may want to look into ginkgo biloba and what it does to a person, if you're into biochemistry at all. Stem cells. If you got, let's say, arthritis, you actually can get rid of it with stinging nettles. No kidding. But you got to be vigilant with it. In Munich, Germany, I had a treatment for an arthritic hip, which was injections of stinging nettle. And within a couple of weeks, it was gone, and I never had it returned. So it's good stuff there. And also, if you're trying to regrow teeth, a Russian study on 55 nanometer laser technology apparently, I say apparently, of course, started to get cells to work and regrow teeth. Before the internet, my dad had a huge encyclopedia system. He had Collier's Encyclopedia, all the science stuff, who's who in the zoo, Edgar Allan Poe's Complete Works. He was branch manager for Canada, or Western Canada, USA. So he'd have an office down on Granville Street, the Bauer Building, it's still there, I don't know. But he would go to New York all the time and have business meetings and doing all that. He had a massive library in the lower part of the house, which I was always looking into. Basically, how to do things. Wow, that's a long time ago. And I learned a lot of things from those books. So this be, I'm sure there's a lot of others that are worthy of looking up and studying. A lot of good Russian physicists, scientists who are attempting to bring their stuff forward. Some of it appears on Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. Companies working in plasma research is fun to play around with. So, I don't know, I hope this helps a little bit in this name dropping I gave. I know there's many others. Take hours to go through it. But if you think this is worthy of investigating, let me know. I always like to help hobbits out. That's what I call a younger generation. Because they're full of energy and they want to get things built and done and tested and proved. I don't know if this is helpful or not. I don't know. It's up to you. Old information, vintage, is important. It's the foundation of what's all new right now. So you got an iPhone. I don't have a phone. I only got a radio phone. Not in the phones, only vintage ones. And I have iPad, which has Skype. But it's very rarely or Messenger, and it's very rarely I answer anything. Same with that landline phone I used to have. Rarely answered it unless it was important, like Art Bell or Thomas Messer or Hiroshi Amabison or a lady friend. Otherwise, you might want to look into Dr. Robert Kuhn's work and physics. He's a physicist. He wrote me a letter of recommendation. My God, how long ago was that? I still have the letter. Wow. But he had a stroke and is not communicating that well. Dr. Coons, I have the letter somewhere. I got a bunch of letters of recommendations by different people over time. Little wings, angel wings. So I'm not acting too ridiculous in this video for you, hobbits out there. I know you're doing great stuff and I appreciate it. It's good to be recognized by others out there for you. Get together and get your stuff going. A big thanks to Tim Ventura for his APEC conferences. And Alien Scientist for publishing it as well. That's a YouTube channel. And a lot of really good folks doing good stuff. Like for me, just looking on electric motors, and this guy called Jeremy, I think it is, goes into a lot of different topics. It's got a full YouTube channel. Then Mr. Carlson's Lab is a good channel to look up. He's always working on some vintage piece of gear. Mr. Carlson's Lab. You gotta get into understanding these earlier things that help. So you have a strong foundation to go into the modern stuff. Oh, yeah. So, Dr. Peter Kokoshnik was a nuclear physicist, by the way. And he was into the ether technology. And as well as many other things, but also bioforce products in Switzerland. He tests them out. But it's so sad that, like, kind of like Tesla in a way, that all his publications are not out there on the internet, I guess. They are in Austria, not at that house location I gave you a while back, because Peter also had an apartment. I guess the Gazda family would have all that, and Dr. Margarita would too. But again, they're not much into the internet, so the stuff just sits in houses. Maybe it's stored at the Gazda house in Vienna, where Yin stored all her films. Just took them and put them inside a room. That's where Granddad Antoine Gazda had his workshop in the basement. He was a famous inventor. That, if you look up Antoine Gazda, you'll see Wikipedia articles on him and his lab. It was basically a machine shop that had some disc-shaped things sitting along the walls and other things, and Peter Kokoshnik wanted to get that out of there and get it to his place, but things turned kind of sour. When I left Germany, he got sick, passed away. Probably from all the radiation stuff he was working with. He showed me radiation burns on his hand. So maybe Bob Greener can make a special trip to visit Dr. Margarita to acquire a wealth of information. Now, the Tesla papers did actually, a lot of that went to the United Kingdom. Because contact in Canada, in Vancouver, Thomas Lee Richardson, knew Tesla, wrote a book on him as well. He had Tesla papers. Okay? Like a house full of stuff. As well as Lawrence St. Ives' aunt was secretary to Niki Tesla. And when she passed away, all the papers were auctioned off. Lawrence St. Ives contacted me in 1983. I still got his phone number. I had a doctor friend searching out relatives to him, but that's the last I heard. I did put it on change.org. But, you know, nobody listens to me. They think I'm a nut. Well, I am nuts, but I got some original pieces from Thomas Lee Richardson, by the way. Yeah, I saw the documentary on Tesla's missing papers. Well, it was all shipped to the museum in Belgrade. I talked to those people when they're in Expo 86, Canada. I mean, what the FBI got is nothing, really. It's another story going wild kind of thing. Oh, they got some papers, of course, but there was a reason for that, perhaps. It's same as Thomas Lee Richardson when he passed away. The province of British Columbia locked down everything and said, well, you know, we can't really do anything until we find a relative. I found a relative in the United Kingdom and shipped everything over there. What they did with it, who knows? They could have thrown it in the trash. Which is common. I come across papers and scientific stuff that was handwritten from a garage sale. I'm guilty. Didn't know who he was. He could have been famous. I don't know. I threw it all out in the trash as well. It wasn't interesting to me, and it was mostly chemistry stuff. It'd be interesting to a chemist, I am sure. I was in Gold Beach, Oregon. Anyway, it's getting kind of long going here. Ooh, wow, that long already? I better get going. 50 minutes.